start streaming. If you haven't been here before, just know that this is a free live breakdown of nursing dosage calculations. Problems if you are a pre-nursing student or a student who is in a nursing program. This is where you want to be to understand the dosage calculations, okay? We are live on YouTube right now, so if you would like to go back and review this session, it will be on my YouTube channel, A Blessed RN, the same handle as it is on TikTok. So y'all do me a favor, those who are here, go ahead, double tap that screen for me. Let's get it popping. Let's let everybody else know that, hey, we're on tonight instead of last night. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for the lives. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for supporting me as I support you all. How y'all doing in school so far? What's going on? How you feeling? This is a free space. We can express ourselves too. There's no instructors here. So like, what's going on in school? How y'all feeling? Are you feeling the heat yet? Let's see. All right, we on YouTube. Got that going. I'll make sure the volume's up on YouTube. And then we can get started. I don't have really that many metric conversions tonight. But if y'all would like some metric conversions, let me know in the comments, okay? Do. Okay. All right, so we do have, thank you, Garden. You sent me a rose. Thank you so much. Alrighty. I appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it. I appreciate every little bit I get. Thank you so much. All right, so if you're ready, is dimensional analysis going to be our star of the show tonight? Let me know. Garden, thank you for doing this on your own precious time. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing and supporting and sending roses. I appreciate it. How am I going to do dosage calculations without a calculator? Here we go. All right. So this one is a little funky grains problem. Like, I haven't seen grains used in forever, but apparently they still use them in school. I think it's called apothecary. So we'll go over it. So when we do this with dimensional analysis, I like to start with what I am looking for. So everybody always asks me, in dimensional analysis, how do you know what comes next? What do you put on the top? What do you put on the bottom? Okay, start with what you're looking for. Okay, so we know that we got to edit this first. All right, we are looking for milligram. There are 60 milligrams in 1 grain. Okay, Viquita, hey, Viquita, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I try to be a blessing to others as God has blessed me. Y'all, it's been 14 years since I've been a nurse. Oh my gosh. Oh, time flies. All right. So what I was saying, when you do dimensional analysis, you start with what you're looking for, okay? So if we're looking for milligrams, I'm going to start with the milligrams. I'm going to put it on top first, okay? I wrote this on the side because this is our relationship. This is our puzzle piece. This is what we are going to use as our conversion. So when you have these elements in your problem, write it out to the side so you won't have to like tax your mind to try to think, well, how much is this and how much is that while you're trying to set up your dimensional analysis. Just write it to the side and you already have it, okay? So 60 milligrams is 1 grain. Girl, if you know, Benquita. Okay, So 2/3 grains is what we have, okay? So we're gonna put it just like that, 2/3 grain, because we had grain on the bottom, we need grain at the top, and those grains cross out. So now you're left with it is what you're looking for. So you're gonna do 60 times 2 divided by 3 times 1, which is 3. So that's going to be what, 120 divided by 3. So that is going to equal 40 milligrams. Okay, that was easy enough. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. Like I said, I don't have a lot of metric tonight. If we need to go back and do some more metric, y'all let me know in the comments. I just, just gonna hop right in. All right. Regular insulin, 100 units in 100 mLs of normal saline, basically sodium chloride, to infuse at 12.5 units per hour. At what rate, which is milliliter per hour, should the nurse set the infusion device to? Okay, so when you say infusion device, that is your cue. That's like a keyword for milliliter over hour. When you give an IV is measuring how much of the fluid you're going to give over the amount of time. Okay, so it's volume over time. So we'll look for milliliter over hour. So you're probably wondering, like, why are you writing gold? Okay, after you read the question, find out what the question is asking you, because that's what you're going to start with, right? Right. All right. So let's look back at what we have. So when I say puzzle piece or relationship, I'm talking about two things that go together. Like one day is 24 hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. If you have milliliters per hour, units per milliliter, stuff like that, but you keep them together. Okay. So this says there are 100 units in 100 milliliters. That's a relationship. So we're going to keep it together. We can flip flop it if we need to for it to fit our puzzle, but you don't separate it, okay? So then we've got it's infusing at 12.5 units per hour, okay? And then that's all the relationships we have, and it's just asking us a question now, milliliter per hour. So if we're looking for milliliter, I'm going to start with my milliliters, okay? So this has milliliters in it. Doesn't matter if it's on the top, doesn't matter if it's on the bottom. If we need it and we are looking for it, I can flip flop this. So therefore, blah, 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 I'm going to do 100 mLs over 100 units. Okay. Boom. So then we have units at the bottom. We need units at the top. So we'll do 12.5 units per hour. Okay, units has now crossed out. So that's the name of the game with dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis does not require for you to be a math maven, and it doesn't need to be hard. What we are simply doing is crossing out units so that we can get it to look like this, where it has milliliters on the top and hours on the bottom. Okay. When you do dimensional analysis, make sure that you're writing out your units beside the numbers that you have, because that's what's important, crossing out the units, okay? All right, so now that we are at goal, I like to do what's called a calculator trick. I multiply across the top. Once I get to that 12.5 in my calculator, I do not hit equals, I hit divide. And then I enter all my numbers in on the bottom. And when I enter those in between, I hit divide. So multiply at the top, divide at the bottom, equals one time, and that will give you your answer. This prevents you from getting a super long number and having to enter it again into your calculator after writing it down, if that makes sense, okay? All right, so 100 times 12.5 divided by 100 is going to be 12.5 milliliters per hour. Okay. Thank you, Garden. Anybody have any questions so far? Y'all let me know what programs y'all are in. LPN, RN, Associates, BSN, accelerated programs. What y'all got going on? And thank you for sharing the lives. I appreciate it. I thank you for the likes and for the shares. Alrighty, so this one is the intake and the output, okay? So the patient's PO intake for breakfast is 6 ounces of juice, 1 pint of milk, 2 cups of water, and 1 cup of coffee with 2 teaspoons of cream. What is the patient's total by mouth intake of fluid for breakfast in milliliters? Okay, so this is requiring us to basically convert all of these measurements into milliliters. Okay, so let's see, that was accelerated BSN. Ooh, look at you, man. I don't see how y'all do accelerated. It's already like a lot, but then go and accelerate it. Hats off to you. All right, so what we'll need to do for this is convert all of your units individually to milliliters. Once you have everything in milliliters, you add it all up and that's it. All right, so first is 6 ounces of juice. So we need to go from 6 ounces to milliliters, right? So let's write out a couple of our conversions on the side. So we know that 1 ounce is 30 mLs, okay? We know that 1 cup is 8 ounces. We know that 1 pint is 2 cups. And what else is asking us to convert? 1 cup, ounce, pint, teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon is going to be 5 mLs. Okay. Hey, Ladra, how you doing? I snuck on here tonight because I wasn't here yesterday. Hello. All right, so if we're looking to change ounces to milliliters, we're going to start what we're looking for, right? So I'll use my 30 milliliters is 1 ounce. And then I have 6 ounces. My ounces crossed out. And then we'll do 30 times 6, which is going to be 180 milliliters. So I'm going to write that to the side. That is my juice. And then we need to go from 1 pint to milliliters. Okay. So 1 pint of milk. So we do 1 pint, and we got to do that to cups, and then cups to ounces, and then ounces to milliliters. So that's involves a lot more steps. All right. So if we're looking for milliliters, we'll do 30 milliliters is 1 ounce. So now we got ounces at the bottom. We need ounces at the top. So we have 8 ounces is 1 cup. Okay, ounce crosses out. We got cups at the bottom. We need cups at the top. So then if we have, hold on, what were we looking for? Yeah. 1 ounces and then cups. Wait a minute. We got 30 milliliters is 1 ounce, which is right. Then we got 8 ounces is in a cup. And then, okay, I know what we're doing. All right, I'm back with you. Boom. All right, so now we've got 2 cups is 1 pint. So cups crosses out, and then we've got 1 pint over 1. Boom, boom. All right, so everything is crossed out. Remember, we're doing a puzzle. So we'll do 30 times 8 times 2. And that's going to be 480 milliliters, okay? So I'll write that to the side. I might have to erase because of space, but don't forget that you can go onto my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you will be able to look at the replay and other videos that I have that are breaking down dosage calculations. All right, so we did this one. Well, wait a minute. We did this one. We did this one. Now we do 2 cups of water. So 2 cups has to go to milliliters. So we'll start with milliliters, right? 30 mLs is 1 ounce. And then we got 8 ounces is 1 cup. And then ounces crosses out. And now we have cups. So 2 cups from our problem. Cups crosses out. And now we're left with milliliter. So 30 times 8 times 2 is 480. Okay, and then which is a pint. See how it kind of all coincides? Hey, all right. So 1 cup of coffee. So we know that 1 cup is 8 ounces, and then we have ounces to milliliters, right? So 30 mLs is 1 ounce, and then we have 8 ounces is 1 cup, and then we have 1 cup of coffee. So ounce crosses out, cups crosses out, okay? Boom. 30 times 8 is going to be 240. So that is how many milliliters of coffee we have. And now we have to include the tablespoons, the teaspoons of cream. So we know that there are 5 milliliters in 1 teaspoon. And we have 2 teaspoons. So we'll cross our teaspoons out. So that's going to be 10 milliliters. All right. So now get all of that out the way. And so everything now has been converted to milliliters. Okay. So we can add all of them together. 480 and 180 and 480 again and 240 and 10. And I got this many. Did y'all get that many? Nope. Yep. Nope. Maybe. Like I say, I hate that when I talk to the screen and I'm like, did you do this? And I feel like Dora the Explorer. Alrighty. Okay, so let's see about this IV of time completion. How many of y'all are good with these? Or you think that you can answer this question? Think that you can do it? Who thinks that they can do it? I know that you can do it. But how many think that they can do it? Because you got to get your confidence up. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Raise your hand. Be proud, Nashonda. Yes, okay. So let's look at what we got. All right, there is 730 mLs in the bag, okay? And it's infusing at 75 milliliters an hour. How long will it take for the IV completion to complete? So when you have these type of problems, it's asking you for the time. So when you say, okay, what is my goal? Your goal is going to be the time. Okay, so it's going to be time in hours, because when you solve the problem, you're going to solve it and you either get a whole number, which is going to be the amount of hours, or you get a whole number and you'll have a decimal as well, right? So if you have that decimal as well, then the numbers that's after the decimal, those are going to be your minutes. So then if it asks you to answer in hours and minutes, like this one is asking, you have to use the numbers that you have behind the decimal, and you multiply by 60 and you find your minutes. So let's do it, okay? All right, so our goal is to find hours, right? So we have 730 mLs, and then we have 75 milliliters per hour, okay? So if we are looking for hours, we are going to start with the hours at the top. And like I said, you can flip-flop these puzzle pieces, okay? So since we are looking for hours, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to put my hours over my 75 milliliters, Okay, so then we have milliliters at the bottom. So then we need milliliters at the top. So 730 milliliter over 1, because this puzzle piece or relationship is not in conjunction with anything else. It's just by itself. So you put it over 1. That's how we know what to put. Okay. All right. So milliliters cross out. I missed something. Okay, never mind. Okay, I did miss it. All right, so then milliliters is gone. And you're left with hours. So we'll do 730 divided by 75. And that is going to be 9.73 repeating. All right. So remember, we said this part is the hour part. This part is the minute part. Okay. So it tells us to answer in hours and minutes. So we'll take this part behind the decimal and we'll multiply it by 60. Some people say, how many numbers? I just use 2 numbers behind the decimal, because if it's big enough to be rounded up, you'll see it. Like, it would be obvious. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do 0.73 times 60. 0.73 times 60. And that's going to be 43.8 minutes. So you see what I'm saying? This one here is 43.8 minutes. So just round it to 44 minutes, okay? So we'll do 9 hours and 44 minutes to complete the IV. Nashonda, did you get this? Did you get what I got? Anybody else get what I got? Everybody get 9 hours and 44 minutes. And if you did not get 9 hours and 44 minutes, where do we need to go back? Y'all good? I'm going on. So if y'all need it, then say something. All right, so tube feeding dilution. A patient has a bolus single feeding of 100 milliliters of 2/3 strength Ensure. 8-ounce cans of Ensure are available in the supply room. How many milliliters of Ensure and how many milliliters of water will the nurse correctly administer in a single feeding? All right, so these can kind of be a little bit tricky too, but let's look at it and figure out what the heck it's telling us and what it's asking us. All right, so we need to find out how many milliliters of Ensure and how many milliliters of water. So the problem tells us that the feeding is not going to be the whole feeding. It's not going to be the full strength. It's going to be 2/3 strength of Ensure. So what do we do to weaken something? We add water to it. So therefore, we need to figure out how much water we need and how much Ensure we need. The bolus feeding, the total amount is going to be 180 milliliters, okay? So, 2/3 of that got to be Ensure and 1/3 of it has to be water. So what we'll do is we'll set up a ratio, and then we'll find out how many milliliters is Ensure and how many mLs will be water. So we have 2/3, okay, and then our total amount is 180. We need to figure out X. X is going to be the amount of Ensure because it's going to be 2/3 of the total amount. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do 180. Well, we have to cross multiply. So it'll be 3x equals 180 times 2, which is going to be 360. Okay, we want to do to both sides the same thing because we want to isolate x and get x by itself. So that crosses out, and then 360 divided by 3 is going to be 120. So that's 120 milliliters of Ensure. Okay, so now we can figure out how much water we need to add to it. So if the total amount is 180, we know that our Ensure is 120, so that's Ensure. If we do 180 minus 120, that's going to be 60 milliliters of water. What you feel about it? How you feel about this one? How you feel about it? How you feel about it? Do I need to go back and do I need to make anything clear while we're on this one? Nope. All right, moving on. All right, the medication order reads drug B, 30 milligrams per kilogram by mouth every 6 hours. The child weighs 40 kilograms. Drug B is available in the concentration of 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. Hey, KK, how many milliliters of the drug will you administer to this child? Alrighty, so this is the weight-based problem, okay? So on this one, we have the order, which is this. And we have our weight, which is this. And we are looking for how many milliliters to give to the kid, okay? So if we have 30 milligrams per kilogram, and guess what, this is one dose. So if this said dose 30 milligram per kilogram per day, then that would be the amount for the whole day. This is for one dose, and one dose is going to be given by mouth every 6 hours. So that is what that means. So, and you haven't missed much, Jazzy. How you doing, lady? All right, so this just means the frequency. How often do you give those doses? So if you do 24 divided by 6, that means that there are 4 doses in that day. All right. So then I'll just write dose. So you can see that it's just going to be one dose. Okay. The child weighs 40 kilograms, and then we have 200 milligrams per 5 milliliter. All right. If we're looking for milliliter, I'm in the way. Sorry. If we're looking for milliliter, we're going to start with milliliter, okay? So we're going to flip this one upside down. So we'll do 5 milliliters per 200 milligram. We've got milligram at the bottom, so that means we need milligrams at the top. If we do 30 milligrams per kilogram per dose, okay? We use this puzzle piece right here. So we use this one. We use this one. So now we've got kilograms. So we'll do our patient's weight, which is already in kilograms. So therefore, you don't have to put in a conversion. You just put your weight. And I put it over 1 because it's not with anything else. It's just by itself. It's a lonely little person. And now we have milliliters on the top and dose on the bottom. So that's going to tell you how many milliliters is in one dose. So we'll do 5 times 30 times 40 divided by 200, which is going to be 30 milliliters per dose. I'm good. Glad my 312s back to back are over for the week. Lord mercy. I can't do those anymore. I can't do 12s back to back like that. The most that I say I can't. I will if I have to. You know, we do what we must, but I prefer not to. Nope. Alrighty, so Ped safe dose. Drug D, 4.5 milligrams PO once. The child weighs 13 pounds and 8 ounces. The recommended safe dose for drug D is 1.1 to 2.2 milligrams per kilogram every 4 hours as needed. So drug D is available in the concentration of 25 milligrams per milliliter. How many milliliters will you give? And is the ordered dose safe to give? Okay, so we are looking for how much to give the patient, and we need to determine first, is it going to be safe? All right. So our safe dose range is this right here. This is your safety net. These are your bumpers. This is how the most that you can give and the least that you can give. If it's at or in between those two numbers, it is safe. Anything outside of those numbers are not safe. That's it. Okay, so we'll use our 1.1 milligram per kg. And remember, when I say it's got this hours next to it, that means this is one dose. Okay, so I'll put dose so you can see it. All right, our patient's weight, it got 13 pounds and 8 ounces. You can't put pounds and ounces to kilograms. You have to change it all to pounds. So what we'll do is, we know that 1 pound is 16 ounces, right? So we got 1 pound is 16 ounces, and we got an 8 ounce, well, that's the other part of it, a 13 pound, 8 ounce, but we need to change the ounces parts to pounds. We'll do 8 over 16, which will be 0.5. So that's going to be 13.5, all right? So our new weight is 13.5 pounds. All right, 1 kg is 2.2 pounds, and our new weight is 13.5 pounds over 1. Kgs cross out, pounds cross out, and now that's going to be how many milligrams you can give in one dose. So 1.1 times 13.5 divided by 2.2 is going to be 6.75 milligrams. That is the least that you can give, and then the most would be our 2.2 milligrams per kg per dose. Our patient's weight is in pounds, so we'll do our conversion right here. 13.5 pounds over 1. Kgs cross out, pounds cross out. You got milligrams per dose left. So 2.2 times 13.5 divided by 2.2, and that's going to be 13.5, right? So our safe dose is 6.75 to 13.5, okay? What has been ordered by the doctor is 4.5 milligrams. So this is the safe zone, okay? So anything below and anything above is not safe. Not safe. So our order is 4.5. Is this a safe dose? Thank you, Kevin. Are you still here? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Y'all, Nurse Kevin, he is the NCLEX person you need. Hey, okay, my guy. He has awesome sessions on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He comes on more than me. But yeah, he's got a whole bunch of resources and breaks down how to solve those nursing style questions. So y'all be sure to follow him. You need some help with your nursing questions and using your critical thinking and judgment for NCLEX. All right, so no, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is Central Time. Where you at? Where you at? What's the Central Time? You know I'm in Bama. All right. Texas. Okay, so he's in the South too. All right, Texas. So yeah, y'all follow him if you don't follow him already, okay? All right, so no, this is not a safe dose because 4.5 milligrams is less than 6.75. So I'm not going to even figure out how many milliliters to give to the patient because it's not safe. That's a waste of time. I can pick up the phone and say, hey, this is not safe, okay? Boom. Alrighty, let's move on. IV infusion. Infuse 600 milliliters of normal saline over 45 minutes. What will the nurse set the IV to administer, the IV pump to administer the bolus fluid dose? All right, so it's supposed to be pump. My bad. All right, so our goal is going to be finding milliliter per hour because when you see IV pump is supposed to be there. That's your key word, okay? That means milliliter per hour. So We know it's volume over time. So volume over time. So you have 600 milliliters to go over 45 minutes. We got milliliter at the top, but we need hour. So if we have minutes at the bottom, we're going to put our minutes at the top. And we know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Minutes cross out, and now you have minutes at the top, milliliters at the top and hour at the bottom, which is what your goal looks like. That is the whole point of dimensional analysis. It is to cross out everything that you don't need at the top and the bottom in order to get what the question is asking you, okay? And that's it. That's it. Don't make it more complicated. Don't get stressed out about it. Just look for what it's asking you to find. Cross out what you don't need. Everything else has got to go except for what it is that you're looking for. And now we know that this will go at 800 mLs per hour. Because you do 600 times 60 divided by 45. That's it. All right, microgram per kilogram per minute. A patient is receiving dobutamine at IV at 10 milliliters per hour. The patient weighs 80 kilograms. All right, you are supplied with dobutamine, 250 milligrams, and 250 mLs of normal saline. How many micrograms per kilogram per minute is the patient receiving? All right, this looks like a hard problem to solve because it's asking you to find microgram per kilogram per minute. That's 3 different things that you have no clue how to solve or find unless you do dimensional analysis. You can use other methods, but if you are not strong in math and you don't have a clue what you're looking for, I suggest that you just solve a puzzle like we've been doing. We're going to do this the same way that we did the other problems. We're going to find our goal, which is going to be microgram on the top, kilogram, and minute at the bottom, because it's microgram per kilogram per minute. Okay, so we're going to look at what our puzzle pieces are or our relationships. So we know we got 10 milliliter per hour, so I'm gonna write it to the side. 10 ml per hour. Our patient's weight is 80 kilograms, and we have 250 milligrams and 250 milliliters of dobutamine. Okay, so now we have to get micrograms at the top, kilograms, and minutes at the bottom. If I'm looking for micrograms, I always start with what it is that I'm looking for. Even though we don't have a microgram in sight, I'm still going to start with my micrograms. So I'm going to put 1,000 micrograms per 1 milligram, because I have milligrams, I don't have micrograms, and that's what I'm looking for. All right, so now I have my milligrams at the bottom. I can put my milligrams on the top and they cross out. So 250 milligrams over 250 mLs. Milligrams crossed out. All right, so now I've got that puzzle piece used. So then we got milliliters at the bottom. That's got to go because there's no milliliters in our goal, right? So 10 mLs per hour. Remember, you keep these relationships or these puzzle pieces together. You can flip them, but don't separate them. Milliliters cross out. Now we've got hour at the bottom and we need minute at the bottom, right? So if we do 1 hour is 60 minutes, that takes care of that. Boom. So now we've got microgram at the top, which is that. And we've got minutes at the bottom, which is that. And so now the only thing that we need at the bottom that we're missing is our kilograms. Our patient's weight is already in kilograms. So therefore, I'm going to put this 1 on the top and my 80 kilograms at the bottom. And now my goal is complete. I have micrograms on the top, kilograms, and minutes at the bottom. So I'm going to go to my calculator now and finally do some math, because we haven't did a stitch of math since we started this problem, have we? So stop thinking that I really have to be good at math to be a nurse, or I have to be good at math to do dosage calculations. No, you don't. You just got to know how to solve a puzzle, okay? All right, so 1,000 times 250 times 10, and then 1. I don't put the 1s in because they don't make a difference. Divide. And that's another one. 250 divided by 60 divided by 80. And because I am overly cautious, I always like to put it in and make sure that I get the same thing. So I got 2.08, okay? I'm going to do it again just to make sure because I need to pass with 100% or I lose my tuition money. And I ain't got time to be doing it, all right? So I'm putting in all of my values again. And divide and divide and divide. Boom. So I got the same thing twice. So it is 2.08333333 repeating micrograms per minute. Yes, Nashonda. Micrograms per kg per minute. Okay. So make sure you always label because we don't want you to get those points taken off. Make sure you put that leading zero and no trailing zeros. If this asks us to round to the nearest tens place, what would our answer be? I got like a burst of energy. I don't know. I just got excited. I just feel myself getting loud and everything. I'm sorry. Let me cool it down. If this asks us to round to the nearest tenths, what would this be? A lot of people are saying, I know this is a crazy question, but I'm not comfortable with rounding. Well, that's okay because when was the last time you had to round? Elementary school? I know I'm old as dirt now. I'm not really old as dirt. I'm 35, but still. Elementary school to 35 is a long gap. So if you don't know how to round, think round right. If you're going to round something, this is your whole number. This is your tens, and this is your hundreds, okay? So if it asks you to round to the nearest whole number, you go to that tens place, round right. You look at the place that you want to round to, you go one place to the right. It's a zero. So 4 and below is going to be the same number. So that 2 would be the same. If we were saying round to the nearest tens place, you're going to start at that tens place, which is that one, and you go over to the next place, which is your hundreds. So if it's 5 and above, that means you round up to the next number. So if we were rounding to the nearest tens, this would be 2.1 micrograms per kilogram per minute. And yes, y'all got it right in the comments. Turn up. Bring me get her some ginger. Oh. All right. She said this was so much easier. Jazzy, I be trying to tell you. I'm trying to set the captives free, man. Like, y'all need to double tap on this screen so everybody can get a little piece of it. I hate seeing the fact that a lot of people say that they don't really teach the dosage calculations in the school, but it's a integral part or it's a mandatory test. And then a lot of some teachers don't really know how to use dimensional analysis. I hated dimensional analysis in school. I ain't gonna even front like that, but it is really, really easy. Like we just did this really complicated problem in less than 5 minutes, and you get it. All right. So IV infusion. Infuse 600. We did that one already, didn't we? Did we do that one? Did we do this one? Yep, we did. It got in there twice. My bad. Whoops. All right. So, reconstitution. All right, reconstitution is another thing that gets people. The secret behind reconstitution is to concentrate on the concentration. It doesn't matter how big the vial is. It doesn't matter how much total grams or milligrams are in the vial. It doesn't matter how much water or normal saline or whatever you have to add to it. What you want to do is concentrate on the final concentration. After you shake the powder and the liquid up, how many milligrams per milliliters is it? How many milli equivalents per milliliter is it? How many units per milliliter is it? How many duts per dut is it? That's what you concentrate on, the concentration, okay? Now we got that out the way. Drug X 250 IV every 6 hours. Direction on label state to add 1.8 milliliters of sterile water to a 500 milligram vial, which will make a concentration of approximately 225 milligrams per milliliter. How many milliliters will you administer? Okay, so our goal is milliliter. And we know that this is going to be fluff. This is going to be fluff. And then this is what we're going to use. So our concentration is 225 milligrams per milliliter. And our ordered amount is 250 milligrams, okay? So that is per one dose. You give one dose of 250 every 4 hours. Every 6 hours, which would be 4 doses in a day, okay? Talk it out. Make it make sense to yourself. What is this telling me, okay? So we're looking for milliliters. I'm going to start with this puzzle piece and flip it because I want my milliliters on the top. Milliliter over 225 milligrams. My milligrams are at the bottom. I need my milligrams at the top. So I'll do 250 milligrams over 1 because this is by itself. So we use all of our puzzle pieces. Everything is gone except for milliliters, which is your goal. So 250 divided by 225 is going to be 1.1111 repeating. So you could do 1.1 milliliter. You could do 1 milliliter, just depending on how the ATI, HESI, your professor, whatever tells you to round, okay? That's how you round. And make sure if it's telling you to round, that you round so that you can get your answer right, okay? All right. How 1.5 liters of normal saline to infuse over 10 hours. On hand is IV tubing with a drop factor of 20 drops per milliliter. Calculate the flow rate in drops per minute, okay? So if our flow rate need to be in drops per minute, we are looking for drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. So right here we have 1.5 liters of normal saline to go over 10 hours. And then we have a drop factor, which is 20 drops per milliliter, and then we need to find drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. So you can do one of two things. You can solve it by converting your 1.5 liters to milliliters, or you can just write out your conversions and let the math do the mathing. I will show you how to do it both ways. All right, so we have drops on the top that we're looking for. We'll start with our 20 drops per milliliter. We have milliliter on the bottom, so we need milliliter at the top. We don't have milliliters, we have liters. So we'll do milliliter over liter. We know that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. MLs cross out. Now we got 1.5 liters over 10 hours. Liters cross out. Now we've got to do hours on the bottom. We need minutes. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. So hours crosses out, and now we have drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. Okay? So we'll do 20 times 1,000 times 1.5 divided by 10 divided by 60, which is going to be 50 drops per minute. Okay? So if you wanted to change that 1.5 liters, because you see how I put 1.5? Don't let fractions throw you off. People see fractions, they start shaking in their boots. Be twerking in the seat. Don't do that. 1.5, that's the same thing as half, right? 1.5. All right, just change it. So 1.5 is going to be multiplied by 1,000 because we know that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So if you are going from 1.5 liters to milliliters, you're going from might to slight, 3 places to the right. So we got 1, 2, 3. Add your decimal spaces, and that's your new decimal. So it'll be 1,500 milliliters. So then if we had 1,500 milliliters over 10 hours, you would do the same thing. So we do 20 drops per milliliter. Then you have your 1,500 milliliter per 10 hours. We want our hour on the top and our minutes on the bottom, and that crosses out, boom, boom, and it still drops per minute. So 20 times 1,500 divided by 10 divided by 60, and that's still 50 drops per minute. So you see that you can do it both ways. You just, got to know to convert it. You have to know your conversions. Y'all good? All right. Here's another one. D5 have normal saline with 20 milliequivalents of KCl per liter is to infuse. Wow, 20 D5 normal saline with 20 milliequivalent a liter to infuse at 75 milliliters per hour. On hand is IV tubing of 20 drops per milliliter drop factor. Calculate the flow rate in drops per minute. So this is over 1 liter. So we know that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters, right? All right. So we are going to find our drops per minute. Okay. So what we need to do is our 75 milliliters per hour. We've got a drip factor of 20 drops per milliliter, and we need to find drops per minute. Okay, so we got 20 drops on the bottom, milliliter. We put our 75 milliliters an hour, and we want minutes to be on the bottom, so we'll do our 1 hour is 60 minutes. And our puzzle is now complete. So this part right here was a whole lot of junk. Because this right here told you what? Volume over time, which is what it is that you were looking for. Don't let this stuff trip you up. You know things. Okay? So we'll do 20 times 75 divided by 60. And that's going to be 25 drops per minute. Anybody have any questions about this? I know, like, when you have units or milliequivalents or all that thrown into the mix, people get really kind of frustrated and confused. It's just a different unit of measure. Don't let it throw you off. Remember, what's on the top is what's on the bottom. And like that part didn't even matter because you had your volume over time, okay? Doctor order a half a teaspoon of drug A by mouth 3 times a day. The drug strength of drug A is 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. How many milligrams of drug A did the physician order for the entire day? Okay. So let's see here. It says that we need half a teaspoonful. So how many is a teaspoon? 1 teaspoon is 5 mLs. So half a teaspoon is going to be 2.5 mLs, right? All right. So 2.5 mLs by mouth 3 times a day. And the drug strength is 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. And we know that 2.5 milliliters is given in 1 dose. And then TID means that we have 3 doses in 1 day. Alrighty. So then our goal is to find out how many milligrams per day did the physician order. So we're looking for milligrams. We'll start with milligrams, okay? 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. Okay? So now we got milliliters at the bottom. We need milliliters at the top. So we'll do 2.5 mLs per dose. Okay? So milliliters cross out. Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate it. And thank you for sharing and the gifts too, y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right, so milliliters cross out. Now we got milligrams per dose. We need milligrams per day. So we got 3 doses per 1 day. Dose crosses out, and you're left with how many milligrams you get in a day. Okay? So now we'll do 200 times 2.5 times 3 divided by 5. And that is going to be 300 milligrams that they ordered per day. This one seemed like it was going to be easy at first, but then it had like a lot of moving parts to it. But like I said, if you are good at setting up puzzles and you suck at math, dimensional analysis is where it's at. Anybody have any questions about this one? Can I do this one again? Yeah, I can, Simon. How you doing? All right, so I'm gonna erase everything. Boom, boom, boom. Good. Good to hear. All right, so doctor order, half a teaspoonful. So this is the order. Drug A, and then drug A is 1 dose. So that half a teaspoonful is 1 dose 3 times a day. TID. That's what TID means. All right. And then it's available in 200 milligrams per 5 milliliters. And it's asking us how many milligrams per day. Okay. It says the entire day. So our goal is to find milligrams per day. We know that this order right here is in household, right? So we know that 1 teaspoon is going to be 5 milliliters. If we have half a teaspoon, that's 2.5 milliliters. All right. So we know that 2.5 milliliters is given as 1 dose. Okay. Then 1 dose is given 3 times a day. So 3 doses in 1 day. I'm sorry. Okay. And then our medicine is 200 milligrams for 5 milliliters. And we are trying to find how many milligrams per day. So when you do dimensional analysis, people ask me, what do you start with? How you know what goes on the bottom, what goes on the top? Start with what you're looking for. Put that first and foremost on the top. So you see how we wrote all of these puzzle pieces or relationships to the side? We're going to pick the one that has milligrams in it first because that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to go right here. And that says 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. My milligrams are already on the top, so I don't have to flip it, okay? I'll do 200 mgs over 5 milliliters. What's at the top is crossed out with what's at the bottom. So we've got our goal that has milligrams at the top, which we have. We're looking to get day at the bottom. So we know that everything else has to go. So we got milliliters at the bottom. I'm going to need milliliters at the top. So 2.5 milliliters per 1 dose. And milliliters crossed out. Now we've got dose on the bottom. I need day. So I'll do my 3 doses are in 1 day. Dose crosses out and you're left with milligram on the top and day on the bottom. So then we'll do our multiplication and our division now. So you do 200 times 2.5 times 3, divide 5, and then you can put the ones in if you want to, but I don't because they don't make a difference. Equals 300 milligrams per day. Y'all got any more requests for tonight? Because I think that was the last question that I had in the lineup that I just picked out to do. I wanted to come on tonight because I did not come on last night because it was Easter Sunday. But yeah, if I can do a couple more, then I'm going to go to bed. Weight base. Jazzy, you was waiting on me to ask, weren't you? Okie dokie. We can do some weight base. Yeah, that's it. Let's see. Oh, practice questions. Surely was. I'm hollering. Y'all make sure you go onto my YouTube page. You can view the replay from tonight's session, and of course, Work It Out Wednesday will be on Wednesday night. I will be here 8 o'clock p.m. Central. You can view these questions that I done. There are some more questions in individualized playlists that are broken down in like dimensional analysis, ratio and proportion, and desire over half. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Okay, so boom. Oh, it went away. Sorry. Drug A, 7 micrograms per kilogram per minute, is ordered as a continuous drip for a patient who weighs 75 kilograms. Calculate the flow rate using the IV pump if the label reads 1,000 milligrams in 200 mLs. Okay, so remember when we see IV pump? Come on, thing. I don't want that type of pen. Let's see. Boom. Remember when we see IV pump, that is your key word for milliliter per hour, okay? So, boom, let's do it. We got PPP, your patient's weight, 75 kilograms. Your prescription is 7 micrograms per kg per minute. And our product is 1,000 mgs in 200 mLs. All right, so we are looking for milliliter on the top and hour on the bottom. So we'll start with this puzzle piece because it has the milliliters in it. I'm gonna have to flip it, but it's got milliliters in it. All right, so 200 ml per 1,000 milligrams. All right, boom. So we've got milligrams on the bottom. We need milligrams on the top. But we don't have milligrams in our puzzle pieces, do we? Nope. So we're going to have to find another puzzle piece, which is called a conversion. All right. So we'll do milligrams on the top and micrograms on the bottom because we got our micrograms in our prescription. So we'll do 1 milligram is 1,000 micrograms. Okay. The number 1 goes by the biggest unit of measure because you need 1,000 crumbs to come together to make one big cookie. If that makes sense. I don't know. All right. Anyways, boom, boom. So we got micrograms at the bottom. We'll do our 7 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Micrograms crosses out. Cross out your units as you go. Okay. Now we're doing kilograms. So 75 kgs over 1. And then it is hour. We have minutes at the bottom right here, right? So we need 60 minutes is 1 hour. Minutes cross out. And now we have milliliters on the top and hours on the bottom. These are my absolute favorite to solve. I don't know why, but I just like those. I like all of them. All right, so I got like 63 million. I'm not finna write all those zeros down, right? This is what I'm talking about. When you do problems like this and you get a whole big old long number and you don't want to have to put all those numbers back in, this is when the calculator trick comes in handy. So then we're going to divide by 1,000, divide by another 1,000, and we got ones, and ones. So that means it's going to be 6.3 milliliters an hour. Is that what you all got? And do I need to work it back or go back and rework this problem? I try not to go too fast, but sometimes I get excited. We work it. Okay. Alrighty. Oh no. I was up here trying to bake this tumbler and I forgot to unwrap it and now it's got all cool. God dog it. Alright. So let's erase this and we'll go back. Okay. Reworking. Alrighty. So, what is our goal? Our goal is to find the flow rate so we can set the IV pump up. Remember when I said IV pump? That is your keyword, right? So we're looking for milliliters per hour, because you can only give an IV two ways. You can either give it drops per minute or you can give it milliliters per hour. We don't have any tubing with a drop factor here, so therefore it's going to be milliliters per hour, okay? So PPP, patient prescription product. That's what you need for your weight-based problems. You need the patient's weight, you need the prescription, and you need the product. What is the available concentration of the medicine? All right, so now we have to write down our puzzle pieces or our relationships on the side so we know what to use, okay? So 75 kgs is the patient's weight. Our prescription is 7 micrograms per kilogram per minute. That's the ordered rate of the drug. And then we need this, 1,000 milligrams per 200 mLs. That is our concentration, okay? So we needed milliliters on the top and hours on the bottom, all right? Everything else has to go and has to cross out, right? So we'll start with this one because it has our milliliters in it. Milliliters is at the bottom, but that doesn't matter. We can flip it. So we'll do 200 mLs over 1,000 mgs. Because we need mgs to cross out because it's not part of our goal. We need mgs at the top. But we don't have mgs. We got kgs, we got micrograms, and that's it. So therefore, if we have micrograms, we know that we can convert a microgram to a milligram. So we'll do milligram on the top, microgram on the bottom. 1 milligram is 1,000 micrograms, okay? Milligrams cross out. So now we've got micrograms. So we'll use that because this puzzle piece has micrograms in it. So we'll do 7 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Micrograms crosses out. Okay. Boom. So now we've got kilograms and minutes on the bottom. Our kilograms has to go. So we've got kilograms already. 75 kgs over 1 is not in a relationship with anything, so we'll put it over 1. Kg crosses out. Now we've got minute at the bottom. We need hour at the bottom. So we can do minute at the top, hour at the bottom. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now your minutes have been crossed out and you're left with milliliter on the top and hour at the bottom, just like your goal. So now that it's done, you multiply all of your numbers across the top, and then you multiply all of the numbers across the bottom. You divide the top by the bottom. But an easier way to do that is to keep it in the calculator so you don't have to write down a super duper long number and then re-put it back in the calculator at risk of not including a zero, because you know zeros make a difference in your answer, okay? You set this problem up beautifully. Let's get some credit for it, all right? So we'll do 200 times 1 times 7 times 75 times 60 divided by 1,000. Divided by 1,000. The rest are ones and they don't make a difference. If you want to add them in for safety purposes or whatever, okay? But ones are not going to change the answer, so I don't add them in. Equals 6.3 milliliters per hour. All right, so what do y'all think about it now that I reworked it? Does it make sense why we are doing these steps? And why are we, can you do the ones you have to add water? Yeah, I can do some dilution. I don't know if I got any fresh ones. I did one earlier. Were you here when I did the one from earlier, Jazzy? Because I did one earlier tonight. Because in my little folder, I'm in the midst of like working on like a workbook and like more practice problems because people keep asking me. But it just takes a while to come up with these things. And I'd be trying to add some more fluff to the problem so that you can like get through the fluff, because I heard there be a lot of fluff Okay. All right. So I'll do the one that I did tonight. I'll just, yeah, erase it. Don't look. All right. Here we go. So this is the one that I did with the tube feeding tonight. If anybody who wasn't on here, and for those who were, it's a repeat. All right, so a patient has a bolus feeding of 180 mLs of 2/3 strength Ensure. 8-ounce can of Ensure are available in the supply room. How many milliliters of Ensure and how many milliliters of water will the nurse correctly administer in a single feeding? Okay, so this is telling us that the total amount has to be 180 milliliters. The Ensure has to be 2/3 strength. So in order to dilute something or weaken it, you add water to it. So our goal is how many mLs of water and how many mLs of Ensure. So what we're going to do is set up a ratio. So we know that 2/3 of this has to be Ensure. Our total amount is going to be 180 mLs. So if we solve for X, that's going to give us how many milliliters of Ensure that we need, okay? So we cross multiply when you do a ratio and proportion. So it's going to be 3X equals 360, okay? So then to isolate X, you're going to divide by 3 on both sides because you have an equal sign. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So now the 3's cross out. X is going to be 120 because 360 divided by 3 is 120. So that is how many mLs of Ensure. All right, so in order to find your water, you're going to take your total amount that you're supposed to have, which is 180, and then you subtract your 120 milliliters of Ensure, and that is going to give you your milliliters of water. And so 180 minus 120 is going to be 60. So that is how many milliliters of Ensure and how many milliliters of water. Do I need to rework this one? She said, yay. Oh, okay. Yay, it turned out right. See, look, y'all like my tumbler I made for my friend slash neighbor slash fellow nurse. It's like daily Bible affirmations. She was like, I need another one. So I put it in before I started the session, but I didn't have time to unwrap it. All right. Any more requests? Any more requests for tonight? Y'all, I have a promo code. Blessings24. That's good through this weekend, through this Saturday for individual sessions with me. I forgot to mention that. My bad. I'm sorry. So yeah, Blessings24. It's for 15 off for an individual session with me if you need it. Yeah, that's available. Safe dose. Okie dokie. I don't like how that was written. It looks confusing. It's the same one. And that's not safe dose. All right. Okay. Here's the one. Do I do pharmacology? No, I do like little sprinkles of tidbits of pharmacology in there, but dosage is my baby. Yep. All right. So order drug A, 75 milligrams by mouth, Q6. Recommended safe dose is 40 to 55 milligrams per kilogram per day. Child weighs 25 pounds, 10 ounces. Calculate the recommended safe dosage per day. That's important. Per day. All right. Is the order dose safe to give? All right. So, we're going to find our limits, your lower limit and your upper limit. So, the least that you can give and the most that you can give, okay? So, we'll do 40 milligrams per kg per day. And our patient's weight is, it's in pounds and ounces. So therefore, we're going to have to convert the ounces to pounds. My teacher is set up totally different. She doesn't explain. She just throw it on the board. Okay. That's not cool, but I heard that before. So listen. We'll do 1 pound is 16 ounces. I really hate that for y'all, man. We're looking for pounds. So we'll do our pounds at the top, ounces at the bottom, and then 10 ounces over 1. Ounces crosses out, so it's going to be 10 divided by 16, which is 0.625. We're going to add that to our 25. So our new weight is going to be 25.625 pounds. What am I writing? What am I doing? Pounds. Okay, so boom. 1 kg is 2.2 pounds, right? So then our new weight was 25.625 pounds. And kgs crossed out, pounds crossed out, and now you have how many milligrams per day? Mine don't teach. Oh my God, y'all killing me. Like, that is really heartbreaking. Like, really heartbreaking. I hate when y'all come on and say, I just don't get it, and this, and this. So it's like, well, how does that work? So you just get like an ATI session or like a HESI session, and it's like you work through it? Is that how that goes? It's that when you become a nurse, you have to think quickly, no babysitting. Okay, then, yeah. 40 times 25.625 divided by 2.2. 465.9 is going to be how many milligrams per day? That's the least amount. I think some of these, you know how they say hurt folks. I think some of these people like are scorned and hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know none of them personally. But God, dog, I hate to hear it. All right, so now we need to find out the most. So the most is going to be 50 milligrams per kilogram per day, all right? So then 1 kg, 2.2 pounds, all right? And then we'll do our 25.625 pounds over 1. Kgs cross out, pounds cross out, you're left with milligrams per day. So 50 times 25.625 divided by 2.2, and that's going to be 582.38. Or if you have to round it, then round it, okay? Don't come for me. So we'll do 465.9 to 582.38 milligrams per day, okay? That is your range for the whole entire day, right? So let's look back at the order now. It says that 75 milligrams, which is 1 dose, is ordered by mouth every 6 hours. So if you do 24 divided by 6, that it means it's 4 doses in the entire day. So if we do 75 times 4, that's going to give us 300 milligrams in the entire day, okay? Because you got 75 milligrams in 1 dose, and you give all 4 doses in that day, it's 300. So 300 milligrams has been ordered per day. This is the safe zone according to the safe dose range. Is this a safe dose? And that's how you do those. Not safe. Cinnamon spice. I like that. Hey. That's how you do those. That is how you do those. Not safe at all. It's not enough. It's sub-therapeutic. Any more requests? No babysitting. You have to think quickly. We be looking like, woman, we are LPNs. Oh, goodness. Child. I mean, I just hate to see it. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for, helping me to help y'all, to help me to help y'all, because, like I said, that's not cool, Like I said, hurt people hurt people. And, a lot of people get on here and they like bash nursing because they've had like bad experiences. But one thing you gotta know is that people are gonna people. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a patient, you're a family member, people are gonna be the people that they are. So it's like, this is a service oriented industry. Everybody that's in the hospital got something going on outside of the hospital. So just like you have church hurt, you got club hurt, you got hospital hurt, you got nurse hurt. You can't let anybody change you. When you let somebody change you, that's giving them too much power over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're not going to change me, my disposition. But anyways, back to this god doggone, what we doing, IV drip. So yeah, like, and then I feel like those people go on to get these jobs, teaching, which I'm grateful for the teachers and the instructors because, somebody's got to do it. But, they reflect that, negative thing because they've been hurt. So yeah. All right. Enough talking. Ordered 500 mLs of D5 half normal saline to infuse in 6 hours. The drop factor is 20 drops per milliliter. What is the flow rate? So our flow rate on this one, so remember, you can give it two ways. You can give it an IV pump or you can give it via gravity. When you have a ordered set, an IV drip set and it has the drip factor in it, you're going to be looking for drops per minute. In January, we started with 62 people in the class. Now we're down to 23. Typical. They weed them out. Typical. So our goal is drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. So remember, we're looking for volume over time. So 500 milliliters is to infuse in 6 hours. All right. And then our drop factor is 20 drops per milliliter. So we're looking for drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. Okay. So we'll do 20 drops per milliliter. Then we have 500 milliliters over 6 hours. So you see how we use each puzzle piece and we're setting it up and you cross out your units. So now we started with what we're looking for. So we know we got drops on the top. We need to get to minutes. So we'll do 1 hour is 60 minutes. So hours crosses out and you've got drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. So 20 times 500 divided by 6 divided by 60. I got 27.7 repeating. So you can't give 0.77777 of a drop. You either give one drop or you don't give a drop at all. Okay? So therefore, these you have to round to the nearest whole number, which like Cinnamon Spice has claimed, it is 28 drops per minute. Boom, boom. Bye-bye. This is a real weird looking one, but okay, we'll do it. Calculate the IV flow rate for 0.9 liters of normal saline over 2.5 hours. The infusion set has a drop factor of 14 drops per milliliter. What is the IV flow rate in drops per minute? Our goal, drops per minute. Okay, so we've got 0.91 liters over 2.5 hours. And then our drop factor is 14 drops per ml. We need drops on the top and minutes on the bottom. Let's do it. 14 drops per ml. And we've got milliliter on the bottom. We need milliliter on the top. So we don't have milliliters. We have liter right here, right? So we'll do 1,000 mLs is 1 liter. Milliliters crosses out. Then we have 0.91 liter over 2.5 hours. Liters crosses out. Now we've got hours on the bottom. We need minutes. So we'll do 1 hour is 60 minutes. Boom, boom. Look how we just dog walked that thing across there. And you did not do not 1 ounce of math until now. 14 times 1,000 times 0.91 divided by 2.5 divided by 60. I got 84.9. I'm going to do it again. Just to make sure. Okay, she said 85. All right, cool. It's like, can I get a witness? You got it. All right. Boom, boom. I always had to double check. Which should be 85 drops per minute. All right. So a lot of people say, well, why don't you do conversions before you do it? And I don't like to do all of that. The less steps that you take, the less mistakes you make. If you know your conversions, just go ahead and throw it in there. The math is going to math. The math is going to math. Take your puzzle pieces and fill in the blanks. Cross out units as you go. Don't be doing all of that. Well, I need to divide 2.2 for my pounds, or is it multiply 2.2 for my pounds? So you don't know. So now you confuse yourself. So what if you multiplied instead of divided? So now you got a whole just crazy number in there, right? Well, you just set it up. Cross out your units. I don't know. I'm just saying. Any more requests before I get off of here tonight? If y'all enjoyed this session, it's kind of helping clear up some stuff for you. I appreciate a couple of double taps on the screen. Thank you. All right, you're welcome, Jazzy. If you have problems that you want to see on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, drop them in the comments below. Remember, you can watch this replay from tonight on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, A Blessed RN. I would appreciate the support of a thumbs up and a follow. I thank you so much. I thank you. Remember, for those who are wanting individualized personal attention, we could do that too. And this is my website. I do personal private tutoring in small groups too, 4 people max, because it can get too crazy. This week I do have a promo code, blessings24 for a certain amount off. Yeah. So if you need that, then that is available too. And like I said, if you got other requests, you can drop them in the comments. So if there is nothing else, I usually have a session where, I just open up my nursing life and wisdom, but I'm tired. So I'm going to pray us out, and I'll see y'all Wednesday. God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for your son who willingly gave down his life for our sins and our transgressions and iniquities, that we might have life and life more abundantly. I thank you for these nursing students and healthcare professional students that have joined this live tonight. I thank you for the platform, being able to reach them, God. Lord, I pray that in their programs that they gain the knowledge that they need to graduate and become smart, prudent, comfortable, confident nurses who are kind and caring and smart, and that will take care of your people. And while taking care of your people, they see your glory. Lord, I pray that you forgive us of all of our sins, that you continue to do a great work in us and transform our minds and our hearts, Lord. I pray that while these students are in school, that their provisions be made. Lord, you said, if I care for the birds, how much more do I care for you? And aren't you much worth, or don't you worth more than that? Yes, thank you. And I just Pray that in all things that we get understanding, Lord. Give us a peace that passes all understanding during these times, Lord. Let us look up to the hills from which our help cometh. We just thank you, and I just praise you, and I just lift you up, and I love you. And it is in your holy name that I pray, Jesus. Amen. All right. So she said, speak it. Yes. I always look. I don't know. Look, some people stay to the end, some people don't. But I like to cover y'all. You know what I'm saying? I think about y'all often, especially when you come on here and I'm just like, hey, this is a reoccurring person. Especially when y'all come back and y'all say y'all passed too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. All right. But yes, I do pray for y'all, and I hope that you keep me lifted as well. It was cool working these problems out with y'all tonight, and I appreciate your support. And I will see you on Wednesday. Y'all have a good evening.